Jofo in the ring, and yes, my name is Frank Jofo, and this right here is Kyle the Spoiler Moore. What's going on, Kyle?
Welcome back, sir.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
You came back at the right time because we have a hell of an episode.
Okay, but where's Jeremy?
Oh, I sent him to go get donuts to Balboa Bakery at
Balboa Bakery.
102 Saint Jean Baptiste, local 52. We told him to go to the fucking Balboa Bakery and say that Jofo in the ring sent him.
You know what? Go see the cannoli boss. Tell him we sent you there. Greatest cannolis in Montreal, Quebec. I'm telling you right now, take a taste. Go see Joe.
Tell him Jofo in the ring sent you.
Go the distance with Balboa Bakery.
Frank, we got a big guest today, buddy. We have the hardcore icon,
the ECW legend himself, Sabu. What's going on, Sabu?
Thank you for having me. Not much.
I've been waiting for you to do this. Lots of fans out there.
Oh, man.
But I'm working out.
Yeah,
out.
teenage Kyle is losing his shit right now.
Oh, man.
So
Right on.
right off the bat, want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on the show. Pleasure all on this end for having you on the show, man. Seriously.
Big fans.
We
Same here. I've been watching your stuff a little bit lately, and it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's
really appreciate
huge
that.
honor. Huge honor. Thank you so much.
Wow.
No problem.
So we actually, the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of going through the ECW archives. We spoke with Just Incredible a few weeks ago. We just reviewed the Guilty as Charged 2000 pay-per-view, which, by the way, you and Van Damme stole the show on. So, mind you, I think any card you guys wrestle each other was just the RVD Sabu show.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
yeah, but that's cheating a little bit. I've been wrestling him for 20 years.
yeah.
Oh, man. Jess, so can you tell us a little bit more about the rivalry and the friendship that you and RVD had back in the ECW days?
Well, it started before that. He came up to my uncle's house for him to train him, for my uncle to train Rob, and I ended up training him with my uncle.
Okay.
So the rivalry started there. He could do backflips and all that stuff, but I couldn't do. So he actually taught me the backflips, but I taught him everything else.
Holy shit.
Now, whenever you were in the ring, did Bill Alfonso's whistle ever just annoy the shit out of you? Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I still hear it in my ears.
Oh, man. Because you know what? Like, it's people, like, a lot of people would say, hey.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Well, I'm sorry, 1 second.
No
Speaking
problem.
of RVD and the rivalry, I'm wearing a RVD CBD.
Oh, shit.
Oh, nice.
Hey, we're big fans here of our RVD. So if you want to plug something for your buddy RVD there, like, where can we buy that somewhere? Is it on sale online?
It's online and at a few head shops here in Las Vegas.
Okay, great.
Nice. Awesome.
Right. So yeah,
that fucking whistle, I had completely forgotten about it and then when I started rewatching it on the WWE network, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, I got PTSD from when I was like 16. I was like, oh, that fucking whistle.
Yeah, so do I. I didn't like it either, but it got people's attention and made him different than everybody else. So I didn't mind it that much.
can you give us a little insight on, because everyone has their opinion on Paul Heyman and how he was back in the day and how he is now. For one thing, I am a big fan of what he's doing now, and I respect what he did back then for the ECW wrestlers, because so a lot of people say if it wasn't for him with his motivation and everything towards you guys, maybe ECW, you know, it would have probably never existed, you know. So can you give us a little insight on Paul Heyman?
Well, Paul Heyman then and today, then he was more of on same level. Now he's way above me. Now he doesn't even have time to talk to me. But him and the speeches and all that, yeah, they motivated us. What motivated me more was him to say, go out and do whatever you think is right. You know, whatever you think is right, you do it. And that's what I did.
He had a lot of trust in you guys during these shows, especially like I said, we reviewed that match at ECW Guilty as Charged, and you can't replicate a match like that. You never see anything like that now in WWE. So just to say, like, what's your mindset going? Like, okay, now you know you're gonna have a great match with RVD. So, like, just to say, like, and you guys went through tables.
I don't know that. I'm pretty insecure and nervous before a match, especially with one with Rob. Okay. So I'm never as too confident saying I know this is gonna be good. It's always I hope. And what Paul, I like Paul was he didn't care what my plan was. He cared how I reacted on my feet.
Okay.
And that's how they used to judge a good worker from a bad worker. How good he could work out, how good he could take on his feet, opposed to how good he remember.
Okay.
You know, so if you could take it on your feet a little better, you're considered a good worker. So I always do my thinking on my feet. Like when I pushed against something, then my thinking comes out. If I'm not challenged, then it's hard for me to think of good stuff.
Okay.
And the thing with Paul was he let us be what we wanted to be, and if it didn't work, he'd change us. But luckily, me and Rob got to be what we wanted to be. You know.
Well, you guys were.
Yeah, you guys tore it down.
You guys tore it down for sure.
So, what was the ECW locker room atmosphere like compared to the WWE CW locker room atmosphere? Was it?
Well, WWE dressing room, it looks like everybody's waiting to tell on somebody for something. And ECW was just the opposite. Everybody minded their own business, only cared about their match, and watch the monitor, try to learn. You know, everybody's always there trying to learn. And WWE, they're trying to learn, but they're so scared of each other that they don't want to let anybody in on it.
Okay. So basically, they don't want to step on anyone's toes, and it's like if you see something happening, they're going to go run to the principal's office and tell
Exactly. One time, I came back from a match, and I knocked over a trash can. It got back to Vince that I trashed the dressing room. I said, "Who the fuck would say that?" The only ones who were in there were boys, but their boys were stooges.
Oh my God, that's because they probably see how much of an animal you are in the ring. They said, "Fuck, the guy knocked on a trash can," but little do they know it was probably an accidental. You know, like you accidentally put it down and it got blown out of proportion. Like
Well, it wasn't accidental, but it was blown out of proportion.
One thing I really wanted to know about was in 2006 for the ECW One Night Stand pay-per-view, you wrestled Rey Mysterio for the title, but the ending is what I want to talk about. You ran, you jumped, and you DDT'd him through a table to the floor, and it ended in a no contest. And there was a rumor going around online that you were pissed about that because looking at it, it's like we got Sabu. Why is it ending in a no contest?
Yeah.
It should never have happened.
I was pissed. I wasn't pissed. They wanted a double knockout finish. That's what I came up with. But they wanted me and both of us to die from it, be carried out. It was 5 minutes after we took the bump, and then I was on my feet. So they were mad at me because I didn't stay on my back.
Okay.
But you only knocked out for a few minutes. You're not knocked out for an hour.
Yeah.
But that was the finish they wanted. That wasn't the bump they wanted. And I didn't tell them what the bump was. I said, when you see a double knockout, that's it. And then that's what it was, the DDT through the table.
Holy shit.
Oh, man. Yes.
And it did knock the shit. It did knock the shit out of me because I had the back of my head on the ground. But it was what it's supposed to be, double knockout.
I mean, it looked great because I rewound that a lot. I was just like, I don't know if this is fake. Like, it got me now. I'm 34 years old. And I'm like, is this a shoot? Is this real? What the hell's going on here?
There's no shoot DDTs. You don't work with it, you don't get one.
Oh, man. And of course, we've had someone you probably wrestled a couple of thousand times as well. Just incredible. We had on the show as well. A good friend of the show. And an ECW legend in our eyes as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your confrontations with Just Incredible back in the day, and maybe even now too?
He's very low self-esteem. He always thinks he's the worst. And one time he had to wrestle Great Sasuke, and he goes, "What should I do with them?" I said, "Do whatever you want. The bigger they are, the better they are." And then he had a hell of a match with him. But when he wrestled me, he was always intimidated. And I had we get past that point. I said, treat me like anybody else because that's what I want. I want him to bring it to me instead of me taking it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And he's just so respectful. He's a little bit too respectful. He's so respectful. People step all over him.
That's true. That's true. Because I'm sure in this business, there's a lot of people that have stepped over you as well. It sucks to say, but it happens to everybody, and we just have to keep going and strive for our goals in professional wrestling.
Where you try to graduate out of it, where people can't step on you no more. But I never did. Even though I got to where I wanted to be, sometimes I still got stepped on. Hulk Hogan, Sting, whoever.
That's that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I respect you as a human being and a wrestler, because you didn't take shit from anybody, and it was your way.
I did take shit, but I just tried not to. I took a lot.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. So another thing I wanted to ask was you had a tryout match, I believe it was like 93, 94 with the WWE, and you actually got to wrestle Owen Hart. What was that like? Tell us about wrestling him.
That was pretty cool. J.J. Dillon called me and said, "Vince wants to get a look at you." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Do you want to give you a tryout?" I didn't know what a tryout was. I thought either they want you or they don't. So I said, does it pay? They said, yes, $300 a night. You can get 2 nights. I said, okay, I'll come do it. So I wrestled the first night, Scott Taylor or somebody. And the next night I had a meeting with Vince, and Vince offered to give me a job. And he said he wanted me to wrestle Owen. That would be his mark match, his fan match.
Okay.
So I wrestled him, did pretty good. And they gave me one more date. They had another date on there for the hell of it. But they thought I was going to take it. But I was already told them I was committed to ECW. Even though ECW was a small pebble compared to them, I was still committed to them, you know.
Okay.
And they were going the direction I wanted to go. WWE wasn't, you know. Now, although they probably could have went my direction eventually, but I don't think so. But anyways, I forgot what I was talking about. The tryout thing. The tryout thing.
Yeah.
So I went in there.
I forget what we were talking about for a reason for a second. You're the best.
The tryout thing. I already had a decision before I went that I wasn't going to take it. And then Vince said to me, like, we'd have modify your look, and the Iron Sheik would be your uncle. And I go, no way. I said, that would kill my uncle. And even if he agreed to it, I know it would kill him. But so I said that, for one, I don't want to change my look or anything. And I don't want the Iron Sheik as my uncle, you know.
Yeah,
nothing against Iron Sheik, but he's a clown compared to my uncle, you know.
Out of respect to your uncle. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it worked out great too, because a couple years down the road, you showed up on Raw with some ECW guys as yourself, as Sabu,
Right.
as is. So it was a great choice.
Yeah.
So, sort of. But see, when WWE came along asking me, I was too far along. I was too mature already. I didn't want to change. I already found my niche, and I was proud of my niche and proud of my path. Yeah. And then they wanted to change me, and I was too old to be changed. Now, if I would have let them change me, I'd probably be a multimillionaire right now. But since I didn't, I'm not.
Well, I mean,
but the thing is, hold on. The thing is, if I would have took that job, I wouldn't have been proud of myself. So
that's it. Exactly. It's like you felt like you would have probably feel like you sold out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, I needed to sell out, but I need to sell out now.
Hey, we all make mistakes, so.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have been happy or proud of myself if I would have took that.
Okay. The famous barbed wire match versus Terry Funk. If I'm not mistaken, you tore your bicep with the barbed wire in that match.
Became a trailblazer in the medical industry.
Jesus, man. I don't know. I'm a chef, so I cut myself here and there. But to the point where I saw that footage and I'm like, what the hell is this? When I'm watching right here, I'm like, wow, man, Sabu, you're the greatest. I hope it's okay.
What happened? It cut my tendon and my bicep. So it cut my tendon through and made my bicep roll up. That's what I was worried about. I wasn't really worried about the cut. The cut didn't bother me. Okay. It's that I was worried my bicep was going to go up into my shoulder. So when I taped my arm up, I taped it up to cut off the circulation and to keep my bicep from rolling up.
Okay. So that's the trick. Eh?
But I ended up getting like 150 stitches in the dressing room that night, and 25 of them fell out after the first week.
Oh, Jesus.
Holy man.
But yeah, that was one of my toughest injuries because it's my arm. You know, my neck bothered me, but I didn't use my neck that much. But my arm, I used in everything.
Now, speaking about your neck, is it? I heard a rumor that when you did break your neck and you were in the hospital and Chris Benoit came to see you, is it true you called him a wuss?
Yeah, because he was crying. Yeah, he was crying. I said, cheer up, wuss.
Oh man. So we had and another one of our past guests that you have wrestled as well, the Green Phantom, and he was probably the most ecstatic person to have ever met you, because he said he wrestled you in that match at IWS, and then you guys chilled after and relaxed and talked about life after. You know what I mean? Like, can you describe to us your experiences with Green Phantom in the ring and out of the ring as well?
Well, in the ring, I was pleasantly surprised how good he was.
Yeah.
Most guys who are good usually have their own routine. He just followed whatever I did, and it worked. Every move we didn't butt heads, and it worked. And I just like the way he worked, you know. And when I talked to him later, I like the way his thought on life and shit like that.
Yeah,
pretty nice guy.
Yeah, and you fought. It was in that match. It was you and
Dru Onyx,
another friend of the show, PCO as well. Another Quebec wrestler as well. We know that we have one of the greatest Quebec wrestlers on our show, Jeremy Prophet, and
oh yeah,
And I know, is that the only time you have wrestled in the IWS? Was it the one time, or did you fight?
I think I just wrestled for them a couple months ago, or before the pandemic.
Okay. Yes. With Sexy, was it with Sexy Eddie? Is that?
I'm not sure who it was.
Okay.
But yeah, I worked for them, but I only worked for them twice. But I liked working there. I liked going there, but they didn't bring me back.
A lot of people say when they come to Montreal, all these stories stay in Montreal. So do you have a story for all, because we're from Montreal, so you could tell us a little story about Montreal and to our fans, Sabu.
I couldn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Can you tell us maybe a funny story of when you came to Montreal and something significant? I know everyone talks about the strip joints here in Montreal, so maybe you dabbled into the strip joints.
Like Pierre was a manager there or something. He set me up good. Took me up pretty nice there. That's all I can say about that.
Another guy who was on the show, Dru Onyx, had nothing but you're just sang your praises the whole time.
Yeah.
Could you talk to us a little bit about what it was like wrestling him?
Oh, he was great too. Very, very humble. Nobody was trying to act like they're a big shot or trying to overpower me or overtalk me or overdo me, which I don't mind people do, but no one tried to do that, especially not him. He was very, very respectful. Everybody was. There was no disrespectful person there.
Okay.
Only the strippers.
Sabu, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Jeremy Prophet come in and finish off the interview. He'll explain to you what's going on. You guys are going to be on another podcast down the line too as well. So I'm going to introduce you to Jeremy Prophet.
Okay.
And we do the Freebird rule here at Jofo in the Ring with our host.
It was honestly mad respect for you, my friend. I love you, buddy. I love you, buddy.
Well, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the harbinger of truth, Jeremy Prophet.
Yeah, glad to be here and honored to be on with a legend like yourself, Sabu.
Thank you.
We're going to actually be doing a podcast together with Jonah for Rewind, Recap, Relive coming up this Saturday. So I guess you'll get a bit of a feel for me, and we'll be able to get our chemistry going here before we get on that one. I actually saw you for the first time because ECW hardly ever came here to Canada, but I saw you the night you wrestled John Cena. I was there live when you were in WWE. Hell of a match, and it was amazing. I mean, the whole crowd was behind you. Obviously, they hate Cena, but you guys told a hell of a story in there, and I feel honored that I actually got to see you live on that show, and then also saw you at IWS the few times that you came up here. Last time with Sexy Eddie, didn't get a chance to say hi to you, but I guess all good things come to those who wait, because here we are together, shooting it up here on Jofo. So, Kyle, do you want to?
Yeah.
Question yet?
Sure. I was actually going to ask you about what was it like when Cactus Jack came to the ECW, because there was a lot of talk going around how we really needed to see Sabu versus Cactus Jack. So could you talk a little bit about that?
When he come in, I was intimidated by him because I thought he was coming to play games and to get out. But he was there to put me over. He made a point of trying his best to put me over. I didn't know that until after I wrestled him, because first I thought he was kind of, he's too big of a star to put me over, but he wasn't. He humbled himself, and he wanted to do ECW before he went to WWE, and he wanted to put me over. He said I was better than him, and he wanted to show everybody that. Oh,
wow. The hell of a compliment, especially coming from the hardcore legend.
I don't agree with that, but that's what he said.
I mean, he has to agree with it then, and that's all that matters, right?
What can I say?
It was just his fucking opinion.
Right.
Yeah. One match I think of when I think of Sabu from ECW was when you and Rob Van Dam teamed up and you took on Jinsei Shinzaki and Hayabusa. That was an outstanding match. That was, there were 4 perfect opponents. It would have been you guys. What were your thoughts on working with Shinzaki and Hayabusa at that time?
Well, actually, that match was handpicked by me. I picked those two for a reason. For one, I knew them from before, and Hayabusa I helped train, so I knew them from that. But I picked them, handpicked them, because I knew that they would put us over huge, and they did. And it was a great match and some wild high spots.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of the first matches I remember, being able to download on the internet. This is way before YouTube and all of that. This must be, early 2000s. And I didn't know who Hayabusa was at the time. Shinzaki I had known from WWE, but it made me want to just look up FMW and all the great matches that he had there. That's how I discovered FMW. And, you were quite a part of FMW also. In fact, I think before ECW, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I actually learned and honed my craft before I came to ECW. When I came to ECW, there was no plan of being hardcore or nothing like that. The only plan I had was just doing whatever I wanted because they said I could. And doing whatever I wanted happened to be the direction the whole company went.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I recently saw a comment from Lance Storm, and he said what he felt made ECW great from a visual standpoint was that the matches, you weren't given any limits. You were told just go out there and blow the roof off the place. And, you know, it's so different to today's wrestling where now guys are given scripts for just about everything. Everything is, you know, right down to the second calculated. And I mean, you got to think that the way you guys did it, you give so much more freedom to the talent. You know, how do you feel about how ECW produced its talent versus now with WWE?
Well, like I said, that's how a good worker was judged from a great worker, was how good he was on his feet, how good he reacted on his feet, or how good he reacted by ear, not how good you remember. You know, remember is okay, but wrestling is supposed to be a struggle. You all can't be on the same page all the time, but you can if it looks like a struggle.
Well, definitely.
And so when Paul didn't give us no guidelines, that was great because I didn't want no guidelines. I just wanted to do whatever I thought was right and then fix it later. But whatever I thought was right or wrong, he just went with it.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, another thing that I came across too.
That's what brought out our art.
Mm-hmm. And wrestling is an art form. I know for a fact, having done this for been blessed to have been doing this for 15 years and, you know, hopefully another 15 down the line. I hope to be doing this, you know, by the time I'm your age and have just as good of a career, really. One of the other things I came across when I first started to get to know who you were, like these guys probably told you, we weren't blessed to have ECW as readily available to us. It wasn't until it jumped onto TNN that we even got, you know, a glimpse of what ECW was here in Canada. But, you know, I started to find some clips here and there, and I noticed that you were in WCW for a while too, and that was kind of surprising. I saw a match that you did with Alex Wright, and yeah, it doesn't seem like you were in WCW too long. Was that just not a good fit, or what happened there?
Well, I was there for 3 months. After they said, Kevin Sullivan called me and said, how much would it cost to do our first Monday Nitro against Brian Pillman or Liger? And I said, I can't, I'm booked. He goes, how much to do the second one? And I said, you don't have to pay me anything, just put me over. He goes, we have to pay you something. I said, okay, $500. So I wrestled, they liked me, and they thought I only wanted $500 per match from then out. So they go, Bischoff goes, you're going to have 2 matches a month, one pay-per-view and one Monday. And I go, well, how am I going to get paid? He goes, you get paid what you wanted. I go, what did I want? He goes, $500 a match. I go, what? I said, no, 500 was just to talk about negotiations. You know, so you had to pay me something, I'll take 500. Now we talk. Now I take 500, and that's what I wanted.
Wow. So they tried to lowball you right out the gate.
Yeah, well, Eric Bischoff was so idiotic, thought I agreed to $500 a match. And I did, but I didn't know I did. So I quit. Walked out.
Yeah, so to think they're bringing up the Brinks trucks for Hulk Hogan, giving him millions and millions, and a guy who's done what you've done, put your body through all that, given the business so much, and they're going to give you $500 of it. That's pretty insulting.
And so disrespectful. There was no negotiations. Take it or leave it. So I left it. I had to.
Wow. Sounds like it was really, really bad business being done there. But, you know, then again, they went out of business not too long after. So yeah. Not surprising.
The thing was, it wasn't Eric Bischoff's money. He could have paid me something for real, and I would have stayed there. But it's not his money. It was Ted Turner's money.
Yeah, but you know, Eric Bischoff was the guy going, yeah, no, Ted, we're going to hire. Yeah, all right there, Eric, we'll just sign right. Like it was all Eric Bischoff's doing. But then again, it worked out for the best. And because I don't associate you with Sabu. Like I searched your name on the WWE network and they list you under WCW superstar, which is fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Like you said, you were there for what, a cup of coffee?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this can't be right.
I mean, clearly the guys writing up the website must be as clueless as the writers are for TV. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. Now you were better off in ECW. What are they going to put you in the NWO? You're going to see Sabu with the NWO colors? Get the fuck out.
Me and Virgil. I'll tag team with Virgil.
Oh man, yeah, that and they would. Yeah, exactly. Like I can't see Sabu running around, jumping off chairs and doing anything to Hulk Hogan or anything. No,
it just wouldn't have been a good fit. Now, I remember that the first time I actually saw you on TV was when they did that mini invasion where the guys from ECW came over on Raw, and that was fantastic. You had him, you had the Dudley Boys, you had RVD, all those guys. You did that dive off of the Raw set, and to young me, who was probably still in elementary school at that time, when I saw that, I was just like, this guy is the most death-defying person I've ever seen. To jump off of there, like in my mind, it was like if you didn't jump on them, you're dead. How did that come about? Did they ask you to do that dive, or was that just an idea you had?
Well, they wanted me to jump out of the balcony. I said, that's too ordinary. I said, I looked around the arena. I said, how about I jump up the R? They go, what does that mean? I said, I'll show you. So I didn't rehearse it. So when it was time to do it, the Dudleys were holding the ladder and holding the R. But when I jumped, the R went out from under me and I came straight down. And I was supposed to land on like 5 guys. I hit one of them with my forearm and they all fell down anyways. And it knocked the wind out of me. Then I made it to the ring, not breathing. But it was kind of a mistake because when I jumped off the R, the R gave away, and it set me straight down instead of diving.
Yeah. Well, it was spectacular, anyways, and definitely.
Well, I thought that was a little more original than jumping out of the balcony, because the balcony, of course, he said was going to do that, but if it comes out the R, who would think of that?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
No, it was great. And it's been a highlight and a replay for many, many years. And people look at ECW, and especially that period of ECW when they were just getting known. I mean, working for ECW, did you feel the buzz at the time, even though they're considered the third company during the 90s, but that it was this viral movement that, you know, everyone was wanting to get the word out there about ECW? Did you feel like you were part of something special at the time?
Yeah. Well, because I got to be king shit and get my way. You know, anywhere else, I had restrictions. Everywhere else, I had restrictions. Even on the independents, I had restrictions. But with ECW, I couldn't do no wrong. Paul never said, you can't do this, can't do that. He never said that to me, never.
And I think that, again, that's what made it great. And as a performer, I mean, I hate getting instructions. I hate when they try to put you in a box and say, you know, this is all you can do. An environment like ECW, it's the most ideal when it comes to a wrestler and someone wanting to perfect their art form.
And see, we came along at the right time. People were tired of the fake WWE rules, fake rules. You know, they know wrestling's work, but why have the rules? Well, who said you can't hit it with a chair? You can, because it's not, you know, it's a work. So Paulie threw all the window, all the rules out and made it no rules. Now that's called ECW rules. ECW rules means no rules.
And I think the best part for me as a fan was that we didn't have any more of these BS disqualifications and countouts and these cheap ways that they would use to get out of you know, having to make someone go under. So you always got a finish to every match in ECW. And I think yeah, and the people respected it. They didn't look down on you when you lost. They patted you on the back because they'll try again next time. They knew the finish was predetermined. It's not who wins and loses. It's how you play the game. Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the first time I watched an ECW match. Well, the first time I watched an episode of ECW, because I remember I caught like maybe 5-10 minutes of it just as it was ending. So then the following week I went back to it, and then I forget who it was, but there was a chair shot mid-match. I'm like, oh, okay, this is over. Standard wrestling. No, it kept. The guy got up, took the chair back and hit him. I was fucking losing my mind. I'm like, this is great, but we couldn't get it in Canada. I had to go to New York to watch it on the Nashville network.
Right.
Yeah, me, it was in the magazines that I discovered it, and like Pro Wrestling Illustrated, that kind of thing. It was this underground, and it looked like it was real. I mean, every image, it was, you know, there was the blood, there was the tables, there was the barbed wire, and I kind of thought that every match was like a Sabu match. But I think the fact that you had different types of wrestlers there is what made ECW great, because it wasn't just one style, kind of like today in, you know, WWE, where they take the guys and they train them and everyone kind of wrestles the same style, and it's, you know, pretty boring because of that.
Yeah. So we actually have a fan question here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say, since you brought that up, if you watch how the WWE guys cover, they all cover the same way. They all go for the 9/10 of a cover.
And it's not that deep either. They just kind of hook the leg. They don't pull it back.
Because it's routine to them. They don't even know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't even know they're covering for a pin. They think it's something to get a rest hold.
It's interesting you say that, because I see they take a lot of guys off the independents, guys like myself. I've had a few tryouts, and I see how they try to, you know, take away what pretty much they hired you for, and then try to make you into something else. You know, in your time there during the ECW on Sci-Fi era, you know, did they try to, you know, do the same thing to you, despite the fact that you're already an established star, already just as known by their audience as the top guys, the Cenas, Batista? Did they try to break you down too?
Yeah, well, the talk was, before I went in, they're going to leave Sabu the same. He's going to have a manager of my choice, of course, but I never got one. But not talk, stay on the same gimmick. After a few months, they started changing me. Vince wanted me to cut a promo, and he actually forced me to cut a promo. Stephanie forced me to cut a promo, and they were so bad, I go, they'll never have him do it again. Never have me to do it again. But they asked me again and again. It was so bad that I had to keep doing it again.
When you say they forced you, they threatened to fire you if you didn't do it, or they suspend you?
They put me in a room and cornered me and put a camera on me and said, okay, hand me a script. And I laughed at him. I said, I can't even read this, let alone memorize it.
That to me, that's just so disrespectful to someone who's a veteran in the industry.
See, the thing was that when they go, Sabu, you got to do a live promo. I said, okay, when? They go, right now. I said, okay, I take off and hide. Then it'll be too late to do it. So this time they go, you got to do a live promo. When? They said later. So I go in the dressing room, sit down, and then the dressing room clears out, and there's a camera in front of me and a script.
Wow.
Fuck.
And I even did one where I act like I'm reading the script, and I tear it up, throw it away. So I'm not doing that. And I did that as a work and for a shoot. You know, that's a good promo. That's what Sabu would do, is not read nothing. But they didn't like that. They didn't get it.
No, probably because it didn't come from them, because, you know, Vince likes to think he controls the universe. Yeah, it was surprising me because I saw on ECW, yeah, they had you talk, and I said to myself, you know, I don't ever remember you talking. I remember you there with Bill Alfonso and being intense and, you know, making noise, but not actually talking and, you know, articulating a promo. And it just gave me a bad sense that, you know, if this is the direction they're going to take you in, this is probably the idea they have for the whole ECW brand, that they're going to try to sanitize it and make it more of a WWE soft, that kind of wrestling.
That's exactly what Vince said to me. He said he wanted me to be a likable babyface. And to be a likable babyface, I have to talk, connect with the people. And I go, I connect with the people without saying a word. That's a gift by itself. He said, not here.
I think, did you get the impression maybe Vince wasn't familiar with your body of work at the time?
He said he was, and he even came to me and said I was better than he thought, better than everybody said, all this shit. And then they tried changing me. They said that I was good, but not good enough.
Because I mean, I'm
really, when you hire Sabu, you have an idea what you want this guy to do, not to hire Sabu for a body, you know.
I mean, I get the impression that, you know, maybe he had a different idea and he sold you guys on something that it's not, or maybe Paul Lee, you know, was trying to work his magic and kind of sell you guys on it being something else. But what I'm wondering is, Rob had been there, Rob Van Dam, he had been there for quite a few years. Did he maybe give you any indication? Because he was someone that came over, everyone knew who he was over with the fans, more over than The Rock, more over than Steve Austin, Jericho, all them guys. And they, in my opinion, did him dirty by not, you know, catapulting him to the top, putting the belt on him and giving the people what they want. Did Rob maybe try to tell you that this was something that was going to happen, since it happened to him so bad?
You know, that they lied to Rob too. They said they were going to keep ECW the way it was and build on that, build on those fans. And what Vince said, fuck those fans, we'll make new ones. And all ECW was then was WWE with 3 different letters.
Wow.
So
exactly the same. They had.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, they had like one of the Hardys for a hardcore championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was, and they put the ECW title on Matt Hardy too for a bit.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
yeah. What'd you think of that belt, by the way? Not the one, the one later. It was
terrible.
Ugh, horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't mean, it could be a big shinier belt that don't mean nothing. You know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's not what the belt's made out of. What it says.
What were your thoughts when they threw the belt on McMahon?
I was already out by that point. I didn't care no more. I was already, my mind was gone already.
Because he did have a match, I think, against Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, and Umaga, I think it was at the time.
I did.
I think you did.
Yeah, I believe so.
It was a title defense for Vince as ECW champ. You know, when he had the do-rag on, and he was acting like he was from the streets.
Yeah. And then I wrestled Umaga. Yeah.
God. Yeah. So we actually have a fan question here. Friend of the show, a huge fan of yours, Carlos Vato. He wants to know, why aren't there more ECW wrestlers in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know, because they're not WWE homegrown.
Yeah, probably. I know they offered you the Hall of Fame a couple years back, but you turned it down. Is there any chance we ever see you in there at all?
They never offered me that. Oh, no? I said if they did, I would turn it down, but I was half working. I would take it for the payday. WWE Hall of Fame is the fakest Hall of Fame in the world, fakest Hall of Fame in existence. You know, like in baseball Hall of Fame, they don't put someone who sang the national anthem in the Hall of Fame or a celebrity. They put good baseball players. And with wrestling, WWE did it. Drew Carey is in the Hall of Fame. Drew Carey. How the fuck does he? What the?
Yeah. I mean, for Christ's sake, I've sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry. If I was to accept it, it would be for the payoff, not for the prestige. There is no honor in it. Now, I'd have more. I'm going to be in the Iowa Hall of Fame this year. I think it's June 27th. They're going to put me in the Iowa Hall of Fame. That means more. No payoff. It's just the honor of being in a legit Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, I mean the people in that Hall of Fame and the people who aren't in the Hall of Fame speaks volumes about that whole fucking, like, it's not even there's no building. How are you gonna have a Hall of Fame with no building?
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy, you're in my Hall of Fame. Did you know that? Well, there you go. There's no building.
Well,
You can never go see
I
it.
kind of like what Scott Steiner said about the Hall of Fame, that he said it's it's pretty much Triple H's living room. That's why he wants a statue of Ric Flair, and
yeah.
That's the Hall of Fame.
I mean, the best thing that COVID did for us was not let the Bellas go into the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
And speaking of people in WWE that wouldn't go into a Hall of Fame, I know you were outspoken about some of the people they had you work with at the time. I know Test comes to mind as one of them. Do you maybe I know you wrote about it in your book. Do you maybe want to shed some light on what it was like working with Test, and was he maybe the worst one, or were there others?
He was the worst one that tried to act like he wasn't. He was a tattletale. He did everything I did and just as much, but he'd tell on me for doing it and make himself look better. But it actually made us both look bad. But and working him, he was overly stiff. Hanging out with him, he was overly obnoxious.
He looked like
I didn't dig him.
Yeah, well, no, a lot of people like that in wrestling. I've come across many, but
I try not to be phony. Even to the boys, I try not to be phony. So if I'm a nice guy to one guy, I'm pretty much a nice guy to almost everybody. And that's how I was. He was a nice guy to certain people and mean to other guys. He was a bully is what he was. He bullied people. He didn't bully me, but I seen him bullying other guys.
Yeah, no, I've heard. I mean, I trained with Sylvain Grenier, who he had a big blow up with Test backstage because they were arguing over who was doing a certain finishing maneuver, and it turned into a big thing. Laurinaitis got called in, and they really had it up backstage. You may have been there when it happened, but it was a big blow up from what Sylvain tells me. So it seems like Test had a lot of issues working with a lot of people. He's been described as a very insecure guy. But you bring up him being a tattletale, and it makes me wonder, because the infamous night that Rob won the WWE title, you guys are driving down the highway, you get pulled over. Some people I've spoken to have theorized that it might have been someone that ratted it out, that said, hey, these guys are going down there, stop them. People who are maybe jealous of your success and Rob's success at that time. What are your thoughts on that?
That could be, because, Rob broke the rules and Vince let him get away with it. Anybody else broke the rules, they got penalized. But when we got caught that night, he didn't. We got penalized. But it felt like somebody ratted us out. That's what it felt like.
And so was there a lot of tension going into that locker room when you first came over to WWE? Were the guys more welcoming, or did you know that some were maybe trying to put the screws to you behind the scenes?
No, everybody seemed welcoming to my face. Everybody was nice to me when I first came in. Yeah. There was nobody. They don't have the guts to talk to your face like that. They have the guts behind your back.
That's funny you mentioned that, because the Undertaker was just on Joe Rogan recently, and he's getting some heat for saying that the locker room these days are real soft. What's your take on that?
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, like now guys, they're gonna advance their career by tattling on people or making their partner look bad, and that's jealousy and insecurity. I understand that part, but I don't understand where you want to make the other guy look bad so you look better. Just make yourself look better to make him look bad.
Now, when you wrestled John Cena, was there anything that he said that you can't do, or were they telling you to go easy with him or trying to protect him? Get any sense of that?
No, they wanted me to go easy on him, but like when I did wrestle him, I ended up giving him a black eye on accident. But that was his fault. So it took him like a month out of his movie career, so he couldn't do that for about a month. But no, he was all right. He was way more gracious and talented than I thought. He wanted to do whatever I thought was right, and he was very more relaxed than I was, and he is underrated.
He's great in the ring.
Yeah,
It doesn't translate well into movies, but basically because I don't see them. But
no, I mean, John Cena's he's a great talent.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He's great on the microphone.
Yeah.
He's in great shape, and seems like a very hard worker. And so,
Yeah.
you know, he's always willing.
When I wrestled him, a lot of the other WWE guys go, "Yeah, he's the shit. He's gonna kill you. He's gonna be stiff and this and that." I said, "Okay, I expect him to be the shits because everybody else is." But he wasn't the shits. He was very good.
And he had great matches with yourself, with Rob. He really gelled well with a lot of the ECW guys. And I've always seen John Cena, like I was saying, as a hard worker, as a guy who's willing. He may not have the athletic tools that you know, a Sabu or a Jeremy Prophet has, but you know, he's willing to take punishment to make the match good. And I think that that's a thing that's been lost with this generation becoming softer, is that not a lot of the guys are willing to go to the lengths that someone like yourself or the guys that competed in ECW did in the heyday. Now guys kind of want to, you know, take it easy, maybe a little bit more on the acrobatics, not so much on the physicality and the violence, which is, you know, what the people are paying to see. Do you see that trend in the business, that it's maybe going in that direction with a lot of the companies out there now?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like when you watch AEW, they do all those high spots and all that. You know, a lot of them spots are painful. So, you know, but if everybody does them, it becomes ordinary. Mm-hmm. They're not special no more. Like I seen 4 or 5 shooting star presses on Wednesday night. I seen one every 10 years. Now I see 4 or 5.
Yep. Yeah, it used to be huge back in the day. Like the first person I saw ever do the shooting star was Kidman, back when it was called the 7-year itch, when he was part of the flock. And it was so rare. And then now everybody does it. Like Matt Bourne came in Matt Sydal came in for a bit. He was doing it, and it was like, okay, I see it every week.
Matt
It's
Bourne's
cool.
a different person. But...
No.
Well, that's how the moonsault got killed too. When everybody started doing the moonsault, it killed that. Bourne. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the thing is, the boss, the booker of the company should say, these guys can do this, these guys can do that. Pick which one's going to do it, but only these guys and only these guys. Everybody can't do the same stuff. Mm-hmm. Like say fighting outside the ring. Before I go, they go, Sabu, you gonna fight outside the ring? I go, yeah. They go, okay, then I won't. That's not a courtesy, so they wouldn't kill my spot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But nobody has that courtesy no more. They all want to outdo the next guy and outdo the guy they're wrestling. Instead of sacrificing and making a good match, they sacrifice their opponent and make him look bad.
Yeah. And my take on that, as a bit of a frustrated professional myself, is that I feel a lot of these guys, that's all they bring to the table. See, my take on it is that if I'm on a card with Sabu, as I was back in June of 2019 when you were here, you know, I wouldn't go out there, even if one of my signature moves is something similar to what you're doing. You're in the main event. You're who the people are paying to see. I'm not going to go and do that. And I'm not so, you know, in a creative deficit that I don't have anything else that I can do to still entertain the people. And it's unfortunate.
Anything someone said to me, are you going to do that? Because I won't do it, or I'm going to do this so you don't do that. I always said, no problem, you do it. I'll think of something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always had something out of my sleeve.
Unfortunately, this generation, I guess they're just not as creative as, you know, guys like us. You know, another great match you had during that run in WWE was with Rey Mysterio, someone that I've been in the ring with. I've had a great match with Rey Mysterio in my career. And I thought you guys, that was an awesome match during a time where I feel like Rey was kind of, I think he was champion at that time, but they were putting him in with a lot of these giants, the great Khali and Mark Henry and these kinds of guys. And then with you, he finally got to really showcase a lot of his skills and have a tremendous match. What are your memories from working with Rey Mysterio?
Well, he's awesome too. He's a very generous guy. Also, you know, anything I said to him, if he was doing anything similar, he would change it, and vice versa. You know, I never forced him to do anything he didn't want to do, and he never forced me to do anything I didn't want to do. He was very, very open to everything. Mm-hmm. Even though he's a huge star compared to me, he was open to everything.
And that finish that you guys did too, where you gave him that DDT through the table there. Whose idea was that finish? Because I've never seen that done ever since you guys did it. I've never seen it done before.
Well, I did it a couple times before that, but they wanted a double knockout finish where we both get knocked out. So I came up with that. But I've done it a few times before that, but it's a pretty safe move.
Yeah, no, it looked like death, and yeah, I guess it was safe. And I think that's a lost art in wrestling, because me, for example, I like the idea of going in there and making it look like I'm killing the guy, but the guy is perfectly fine. He can work the next day, no problem. Nowadays, you see guys throwing a lot of these shots where they're potatoing each other, and you know they're doing a lot of real damage. And you know, being tough is one thing, but it's also working smart. Do you see that a lot in wrestling, where now guys they don't know how to work as well and are going out there and hurting each other when they shouldn't be?
Oh yeah, the trick is to make it look like it's painful, but not be. If it's painful, you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stiff is one thing, painful is another. You know, if it hits me in the mouth, no problem. If it knocks my tooth out, that's wrong. You know, you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
And a lot of guys don't get that. They go, well, toughen up. Yeah, I say toughen up too. But if you're doing it so it hurts me, you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the thing too. When you were wrestling John Cena, a lot of my friends at the time, they're like, "Oh, John Cena's gonna wrestle Sabu. John Cena's gonna kill him." I'm like, "Did you ever fucking watch ECW? Like ever? No." I was like, "Get on." There's this thing called YouTube that just started. You might want to get on there and check it out. And then I made them go watch your shit, and then they came back like a couple days later and like, "Oh, this kid's fucked." Yeah, I was like, "Yeah." The man glues his bicep closed. You think he's gonna worry about this guy? No, I don't think so.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask
Gonna
you,
make him eat a fucking chair.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, because to me, it's kind of surreal as someone who grew up a wrestling fan and a fan of yours that we're having this interview, because you were very entrenched in kayfabe. And, you know, I didn't even think this interview was going to happen because, you know, you're very much, you know, you don't speak and that's your persona. Do you feel like wrestling has gone too far away from kayfabe and that some of that needs to come back in today's business?
Well, it is coming back, but it's coming back too late. They're trying to act like everything's a work except for this one move or this one angle. Like this one angle is for real, which none of it's for real. I mean, for real. But yeah, it's hard to explain. But yeah, I see that a lot.
Because I mean, I feel like how strongly entrenched in kayfabe you were helped to build the mystique of Sabu and helped to make you, you know, a superstar. Yeah. That I feel like
I'm still kayfabe at heart. I try to kayfabe a little bit. You know, now the cat's out of the bag, and if you don't do interviews, you're an asshole. You know, so I still don't like doing them, but I'll do them so I don't look like an asshole.
Well, no, we appreciate you being here very much. It's a dream come true on our end, and it's a learning experience for me every time I get to do this as, you know, a hungry young professional in this business. So to get to sit under the learning tree under someone like yourself and hear your words of wisdom, it's a blessing a millionfold. But the point I was making with kayfabe is that you know, I think that helped to propel you to superstardom, and I think that if you were someone who just did interviews like everyone else, you know, it would have taken away some of that mystique. And I think a lot of the guys of my generation, they don't realize that, you know, when that camera goes on, when the lights are on, you need to be what the people are paying to see. Right. And so again, I commend you for that. And that's the footsteps that I hope to follow in as a professional. Do you think any of that has to do with WWE and how they've, you know, kind of come out and said that the business is now a PG kids thing and it's kind of softened it? What are your take on their role in all this?
They make it too soft. You know, wrestling is soft anyways. Even ECW was soft. It just didn't look that way, you know, because nobody really wants to get their teeth knocked out. But WWE, I don't know how to explain the shit. But yeah, their thing is too soft. Where they're trying to, you know, they'll do one angle, then cut out the swearing on the other angle, you know. But they don't treat every angle the same. And sometimes an angle doesn't have to be bullshit. It could be wrestling.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this to you since, you know, you work there and all, but they have this thing that they preach about a brass ring and saying that just about anyone can get over, just about anyone can be champion if they work hard enough. Do you feel that that's just bullshit, or do you feel that like genuinely everyone has the chance to impress management, even though they're the ones in control of who gets the push?
It's bullshit. If you're not somebody's favorite, your name don't get brought up in the booking meetings. That's what Dusty Rhodes said that to me. I said, Dusty, why am I getting killed in all these matches? He goes, you don't have any friends in the booking meeting. I said, I don't. He goes, no. I said, what am I doing wrong? He goes, you ain't got any friends in the booking meeting. Like I didn't kiss up to nobody to be somebody's favorite for them to bring me up. I figured if you want to draw money, use me. And if you don't, I guess not, you know.
Kind of seems like maybe they brought you guys in just to try to give ECW some credibility in terms of name value, but they had no intention of using you guys the way Paul Heyman used you guys, which was much better.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up earlier. When we first came in, Paul was the booker for the first 3 months. Everything was fine with that. When they took Paul out, everything fell out from under us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they fired Paul, not fired, demoted him. They had that plan before we even came in there to do that. Get him started, get us revved up, and then pull him out.
Now, were you still there?
He was the only one that really knew how to push me. You know, Paul knew how to push me.
Now, were you still there when they started bringing in all like the wacky characters, like the zombie?
That
and
was the first episode.
Kevin Thorne. Kevin Thorne is like the vampire and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there.
What was your thoughts on that when? Because you're from the OG ECW, and now you got to wrestle a fucking zombie every now and then.
Yeah, it was too cartoon. The more I complained, the more they had me do it. And I didn't complain to everybody. I just look, fuck, this sucks. And then to them, that's a complaint.
I got to ask this one because it's, relates to WWE now, but I know that for a portion of your career, they had billed you from Saudi Arabia. I remember them also billing you from Bombay, India. When I played the Legends of Wrestling video game, I remember them saying Bombay, India is a hometown. We know you're from Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So seeing that they're doing business with the Saudis now and all of that, wouldn't it have been in their better interest? Like maybe they weren't targeting that market, but, to kind of use you in a better way to maybe try to attract that audience that now they're taking all kinds of money from?
I didn't know that. I didn't notice that, but you're right. Now that I think about it, they should have. They did that with the Indian guy, Mahal. What's his name? Yeah, they did that with him. Only had him there for the Indian people.
Yeah. Ironically, I was there when he had his tryout where they hired him. I was the guy who wrestled him in the tryout match that they hired him from. He's a good friend of mine. He's actually Canadian. He's not even Indian. Well, I mean, he's Indian, but he's born in Canada, in Calgary.
Right.
And I was there when they hired him. And that's exactly why they pushed him so much, as they want to get that market. I even watched their special they had on the other day from India, or they targeted it to India. And they said that they lead in internet views and not network subscriptions, but like in internet views and all those things, because there's 1.4 billion people over there. I think they were sitting on a gold mine with you if they wanted to market you that way, and they would have been ahead of the curve. But unfortunately, I guess Vince's dementia was kicking in, and he didn't.
I don't have any friends in the booking meeting.
Not that I want to work there, but if ever I do, I'll remember that one. I'll remember to try to have some friends in the booking team.
Yeah, you got to kiss somebody's ass.
I mean, do you think if they did bring you in though, how do you think you'd fare with the wrestlers on the roster today?
Oh, it'd be hard to keep up because I'm not as young as I used to be, and that's reality. And I'm hurting pretty bad right now, my back and my shoulders. But anyways, I don't think I'd do that good at this moment. Now, back in my prime, yeah, I could hold my own with anybody. But now, it's pretty difficult.
I obviously I know you can still hang with. In my opinion, you can still hang with anybody. But I just meant in terms of the product itself, like the shit that they put on TV. How do you think you would fare with that?
Oh no, there's too much dialogue, too much storyline. My story comes from my match, not from before the match. My story usually comes during the match, and I'm not big on storylines. I hate that shit and scripts and all that. So I probably wouldn't fare very good.
I wanted to ask you, what was it like when you did that match or when you did that bit of a comeback in TNA? I know you and Rob had an excellent match. I even referenced it on a previous episode that we did. That, when I think of you two, obviously you had a lot of classic moments in ECW, but that match showed that even at an older age, you guys could still go and could still deliver. So maybe tell us a bit, what was it like in TNA at that time?
It wasn't the place for me. They pulled me in for that match at the last minute. It was supposed to be Rob and Jerry Lynn, but they pulled me in at the last minute because Jerry Lynn got hurt or something. And we did have a hell of a match, but that didn't, like I said, I didn't have no friends in the booking meeting there either.
Which is strange because you wrestled for Jerry Jarrett, and I don't. Are you still okay with Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah, but they at the time they weren't in the office then.
Yeah, Jeff had no power at that time.
No?
To take it from a guy that tried to get hired.
Yeah.
Check this out. It was Bruce Pritchard, Russo, and Bischoff.
Oh yeah, all of your friends.
My friends.
And Hogan.
And oh god, yeah. Sorry, brother. So what was your reaction when you got approached for Dark Side of the Ring?
I said sweet because I see New Jack's Dark Side of the Ring, and his business picked up, so hopefully my business will pick up.
That was honestly one of my favorite episodes.
Actually, Vice News called me and wants me to do a promo or do an interview for legalizing marijuana.
Oh, as it should be.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. It's already legal here in Vegas, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah. We're here in Canada and it's legal all over the place, but the government shit sucks. It's like smoking potpourri. So,
you also wrestled a good friend of mine, the Blood Hunter.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good friend of mine, friend of this show. I've known him for at least 10 years now. Another good Canadian. And yeah, he said, great things about you. He loved that match.
What's his name?
The Blood Hunter.
But what's his interview?
Oh, Devin.
Devin, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Hannibal.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I wrestled him. He was all right. Kind of stiff, but he's all right.
Yeah, no, he's pretty stiff, but take it from a guy who's been in there with him and somehow lived to tell about it. We've had about 10, 15 matches, but he's doing outstanding with his channel. And
he's got a popular fucking show.
He's got the top channel in all of Canada. And a lot of times he takes some of our content too, and he puts it on there. So it's definitely going to get a lot of eyes. This interview will get a lot of eyes, but then, after it's run its course on our platform, he'll probably want to take it too. So that'll get it to even more people. So, hopefully we can get the good word out there that Sabu's still kicking ass and taking names and, still going to be around for many, many more years to come. Also, I just wanted to ask you, because I don't know if they talked about it, but how's Melissa doing in her recovery?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Well, we're doing a GoFundMe for her. She's not doing that good. She has like the flu every 3 or 4 days. Like she'll do good for 1 or 2 days, then she'll be stuck in bed for a couple of days. Right now, she's at the doctor right now, and we just got her a new leg. So that's more difficult than we thought. Also, it's not that easy to work a artificial leg, try to walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so she's not having an easy time. She's having a hard time.
If you want to send us the link for the GoFundMe, we can post it along with the episode when we push it out.
Okay, right on.
Definitely. I'd met her a couple of times. She's always very nice to me. I spoke with her a lot, and it was really sad to see what had happened. But hopefully, we can get some money her way and help her get back. Up
she didn't deserve it. She didn't deserve it.
No, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's awful. All right. Well, we got a curfew here. Our entire province is on a lockdown. So if we're not home by 8 p.m., we all get $6,000 tickets. So we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
I just want to say that it's been an honor to talk to you. We're definitely going to plug that book.
Plugs. Yeah, let him do his plugs.
Yep.
I got a coloring book out too. Sabu versus the Three Pigs.
Oh, that's awesome. And where can we find that?
I don't know.
Amazon?
It's not for sale yet.
Oh, okay. But the book's on Amazon. We know that.
Yes.
Where can we find you?
On
all
or you can get a hold of me. Yes.
Where can we find you on the social medias?
Twitter is the real Sabu ECW, and Facebook's Terry Brunk, and Instagram is Sabu with 4 U's and a 3.
Awesome.
No,
All right.
I think I've seen it on there.
Yeah. I have you on. I follow you on Instagram as well. So
I'm gonna start following him on Twitter. And,
I'm not much on Instagram. I have almost no following, maybe 500 or 600, and I just never do nothing on Instagram. But I should.
Nobody really pays attention to Instagram anymore. Anyway, it's all about Twitter nowadays.
Yeah, definitely.
Twitter and TikTok.
Yeah, indeed.
TikTok.
Yeah. You post those stupid videos, and a lot of wrestling fans post a lot. There's a lot of wrestling fans on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
check it out.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
Yeah, it's the next big thing. Hey, if ever you need a sequel to that book, maybe you could do Sabu versus the booking team.
That'll work. Sabu with no friends. Hey, does this show test you for steroids?
Only this guy.
Looks like you failed.
That's like I said. They only test him.
Yeah.
Secret is it's a tight shirt.
He bordered off his little brother.
That's right.
No, it was actually one of yours from your slimmer days.
So it was my shirt when I was 10.
All right. Well, I know I'll probably get the chance to say it to you on the other show, but I do hope I get to share the ring with you someday. I think once this COVID shit blows over, we can get you up here to Canada again, and I think you and I can have a hell of a match.
And I will definitely be front row for that.
Yes. Well, thank you.
All right, man. Listen, it's been an honor to talk to you. Childhood, 10-year-old Kyle's freaking out right now, as is 34-year-old Kyle. But it's been a pleasure and honor, and I wish you the best in everything you do in the future, man.
Likewise, sir.
Thank you.
What a hell of an episode we just had.
Indeed, that was. Wow.
Woo. I'll tell you right now, I don't look as good as he feels. I guarantee you that.
It's a safe bet that would be the case. And while I do feel I look better, much, much better than he feels, I definitely feel for you having to look like this.
A thumb,
Pudgy thumb, stub thumb, that kind of thing.
a big toe.
Yeah, big bloated toe. Yeah.
Like with gout.
You're really being very, self-punishing.
Self-deprecating?
There's an expression for that. You're being very masochistic.
You are where you're into, right?
Yeah, but nonetheless, this was one hell of an episode, and we will see you next time because wrestling is life. Now that we're off the air, I got a bone to pick with you, you
What
fat
happened?
son of a bitch.
What's
okay?
wrong?
You send me to Balboa Bakery.
You gotta get donuts.
Yeah, the donuts. The place is closed. I had to wait in traffic. You start the interview without me.
I'm gonna keep the guests
Hey,
waiting.
no, don't. You have no right to talk right now, okay? Right now, when you talk, you're just taking away oxygen that should go to the smart people in the room.
Says the
okay?
guy that just showed up with no
You-
donuts.
no
No
donuts
donuts.
because the place was
You
closed.
failed your mission.
You send me to a place that's closed. You start the interview without. I had to reach over that table and smack you right now. But if I did, you'd probably die of a heart attack. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be a murderer and I don't want to go to jail.
I mean, you're already a guy.
But
who didn't bring
no,
donuts.
you better watch it. When this camera goes off, I might just find you in a dark alley and teach you a thing or two about wasting my time.
All right then. I'm sorry.
I'm out of here.
You fat son of a bitch. You almost fucking lost me at that. Oh, that was good. That was good. Listen, you fat son of a bitch. Oh, fuck.